As I've mentioned in other videos, I have had a hard time with my relationship with Islam. Part of that is not knowing what exactly it was I was believing in. Not to say that I didn't know anything about Islam or being Muslim. What I had a hard time doing at that stage was distinguishing the crappy actions of a bunch of crappy Muslims from what I believed. And so I started to wonder, do I believe in these things? Is this what I believe in? Hello and salams, my name is Khayyam and welcome to the Chaplain Bar. The issue I want to discuss today is language and terminology. I'm going to be talking about the concepts of faith and religion in a world where there's so much blah 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 about what Islam is and isn't, what religion is and isn't.
One person go blah 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 blah, and the other person go, what are you talking about? And then one person goes blah 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 blah.
It's important to know what's disqualified when we talk about a specific issue. What is the importance behind knowing the difference between faith and religion? Why is this important to us? There's an inner and an outer reason. I wanted to share how some minor changes in language helped me process a lot. Faith and religion are very loaded terms, so unpacking them and separating them is very crucial for a lot of us re-establishing a relationship with Islam. In my journey, it wasn't until I could separate faith and religion that I could make peace with the two. The outer reason is when we are discussing Islam in a social setting, be it school, be it work, what have you. It's just as important to know what you don't mean when you say something as what you do mean when you say something.
Don't do what Donnie don't does.
A lot of young people are being thrust into conversations about religion and faith and how what we believe is expressed. And there's a lot of misinformation as to what we have faith in and what religious expressions under the banner of Islam have veered towards. The reason this distinction is important is because in today's day and age, there's a lot of young Muslims. Scratch that. There's a lot of Muslims who, when talking to coworkers or talking to fellow students or talking to anybody, sometimes they don't know how to approach some of these questions. Younger and younger Muslims are being forced to have these conversations. They're being interrogated, for lack of a better term. People come to us and say, how can you have faith in this system where people are treated like trash? How can you have a faith that believes X, Y, Z? And that's a tough question, especially for a high schooler or for maybe even for undergrads, hell, maybe even for adults. If people are criticizing Islam as a faith, that you are wrong to believe in Allah and whatnot, that's
some old bullshit.
But there are people who criticize Islam, the religion. I believe that it is valid to question and challenge what people do. When speaking on faith and religion, I tend to notice a lot of people misuse the terms or swap them in and out as though they are the same thing. They are not. Faith is the intangible, immeasurable, ineffable, unqualifiable, Exactly. It's beyond words. It's not something that anyone can really properly explain. It is that direct connection between yourself and something greater. Be it God, be it love, be it a community, be it a sports team. People have faith in different things. Faith is an immeasurable belief. It's something that you cannot put in a box. It's not something that can be scientifically measured. And I think that's part of the problem that a lot of people discussing religion from a secular point of view have trouble understanding, is that you can't measure faith. No human can know another person's faith. You cannot know what is inside of another person's heart or what's in another person's mind or what they truly are devoted to. There are people who dress up and present themselves as one thing and have something inside their hearts that is completely different. Somebody might look like a Muslim, dress like a Muslim, but their real God is money. Or they have the outwards appearance of a Muslim, but deep down they don't worship God, they worship fiqh.
You shut your mouth!
A lot of people out there dress themselves up as Christians, but are actually Nazis. Quran goes on about this a considerable amount in times when the Prophet didn't know who really had his back and who was going to stab him in the back. I personally believe a lot of those verses are about faith, about what's on the inside. Now, to religion. Religion was on this side. The way faith is expressed by humans, that's religion. I have faith in Allah, so I will express that faith through trying to pray 5 times a day. I have faith in Allah, so I will try to fast during Ramadan. I have faith in Allah, so I will try not to be a jackass to people.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Yup.
That is religion, how faith is expressed. And the way it is expressed is contingent on the time, geography, language, socio-cultural space that it's revealed in. It is conditioned by all of these things. The place in which it's expressed, or the place in which it's received, is critically important. An Islam that could have been revealed in Alaska would have been very different than an Islam that was revealed in the Middle East. The context would have been very different. The culture would have been very different. And therefore, the religion would have evolved very differently. Language, context in which the faith is expressed is deeply important. God would have probably found a way to use dozens of names for snow they have up there. They would have had different metaphors. They would have had different context. Islam that was revealed in a desert Arab country is going to have different metaphors and different analogies. Ramadan wouldn't be the same because they have a whole month with or without the sun up there. I don't know how the time works. Science and globe and tilty and axes. Time, language, culture, region, all these things affect the way that faith, which is on the inside, is expressed on the outside. Once faith becomes action, then it's religion. That is how I consider the difference between faith and religion. For the longest time, I thought in order to be faithful, that is, in order to believe in Islam, I had to follow every tradition. Even though, in my heart of hearts, there were parts of it that I felt were counterintuitive to the faith.
He has given us a sign!
He has given us a shoe!
The shoe is the sign. Let us follow his example. What? Let us, like him, hold up one shoe and let the other be upon our foot, for this is his sign that all who follow him shall do likewise.
Yes. No, the shoe is a sign that we must gather shoes together in abundance. Gather shoes together. Give me your shoe. Get off!
And I still have people come to me saying, you know, I'm having a hard time with this. I want to believe, but I can't get on board with this, cultural or this religious practice. So my faith says, treat nature respectably. Yeah, that's fine. Unfortunately, we are not practicing that. We are not expressing that faith because every masjid has a grotesque amount of styrofoam. That's just like putting a big-ass tumor inside the earth when we throw out those garbage bags filled with styrofoam. That stuff does not decompose. That's messy. So being able to separate what the faith of Islam was to me and what the religion of Islam was to me really helped me reestablish my relationship with faith, with Islam. This is an important skill each of us has to develop. What is core to our faith and what is part of religion? It's important to understand the historical developments. It's important to understand the cultural developments of Islam. And this is a tricky bit because there's a lot of people that say, well, okay, because Islam was presented to us back 1400 years ago, we can revamp it now. I disagree. A lot of you might be surprised about that. I don't think that's possible, and I don't think it's...
I am too smart! I am too smart! S-M-R-T! I mean S-M-A-R-T!
It doesn't make any sense to me. At no juncture do I wish to imply that focus only on faith and you can scrap religion. No. No. Don't do that. The more we learn how faith and religion develop, the more we learn how faith was expressed as religion, we can then decide this is the point of religion where I think that it was too influenced by culture or where it was too influenced by such and such group of people. You can make that decision whether or not it diverges too far from faith for you. I don't recommend doing this on your own. For me, it was a 2-year journey that could have been 2 days if I had a really great teacher. Have teachers and mentors who have differing opinions. It's helpful when you have counter opinions or counter beliefs to sharpen your own on.
You did not.
Yes, I did.
You did not.
Yes, I did.
Didn't.
Yes, I did.
Didn't.
Yes, I did.
To really temper what you believe. That's why atheists are so important to us. To the young people and to some of the old people, I want to say, don't let the actions of some of our brothers and sisters, what they believe is tradition or culture or Islamic culture, don't let that affect the faith that you have in your heart. Part is on this side. Don't let it affect your connection with God. There are jerks in every religion, and some of them will justify their jerkitude with saying, oh, this is our tradition, or this is our culture, or this is our religion. You just tell them,
And you can't sit with us. You can't sit with us!
you may not be able to separate yourself from these people, but don't let how they believe influence or affect what you believe. Don't let their actions influence what's in your heart. And it can be difficult, but if you can separate the two, if you can separate belief and if you can separate actions, then you'll be far better off than I was at your age. I want to thank everybody again for joining me for another episode. As always, thank you for all of your comments, your likes, your shares, and subscribes. Important stuff. YouTube metrics. Salams and peace out. Bye-bye. Quotes. Jibber jabber. Chaplains that talk.